Hey guys, it's Scott here. A little bit of a surprise for you guys for Halloween. I've got a very special treat for you. This video is two purposes. One, to give you a little update on the progress of my book, R.I.P.Pers, Special Operator Corp. It's coming, guys. It's coming, I promise. I'm about 6 chapters in. So happy with the results so far. It's just taken a little bit longer than I had hoped. But life gets in the way, guys. I have a full-time job. I have a young family. I have a photography business. For those of you who don't know, I'm a cosplay photographer, and things are picking up this time of year. So I've been busy with that. But yeah, I wanted to give you guys a taste of what's to come. So the second part of this video is to introduce you to Chapter 1 of R.I.P.Pers that is following here. It's an audio reading I've done myself, so don't judge it too harshly, please. But yeah, important to note, it's an unhinged, unedited version of the book. It's still in its first draft, but I just wanted to give you guys a taste of what I'm working on, and perfect timing for Halloween because it's a little creepy, yeah? So love you guys so much. I want to thank you for your support. This year has been amazing so far. Mac Popcorn, being a special VIP guest there, and everything that's coming. With my photography work, I'm getting out there. People starting to know me. So the book is coming, guys. Promise. It will be out sometime. See how we go. I hope you enjoy it. I really do. And happy Halloween, guys. Happy Halloween. So please enjoy my audio interpretation of Chapter 1, an unhinged and unedited version of R.I.P.Pers. R.I.P.Pers, Special Operator Corp by Scott R. Lean. Chapter 1, Bad Nana. She'd been lurking in the darkness for years, and before that, shown herself in broad daylight when I was a child. My bad Nana. She was a hitchhiker of sorts, followed me back after my NDE. I was 6 when I died for the first time, a story that I'll tell you a little later, but that's when I met her. Yes, there is a tunnel when you die. First, there is that awful fade to black sensation, followed by absolute pitch black. It's so dark that nothing can be seen, felt, or heard. No images in your mind as you see when you close your eyes. Just nothing. Then, something stirs there in that awful vacuum. A structure to be discerned, a tunnel. Mine was made of bricks, all different colors, albeit rather dull in saturation, but colors were indeed present. A round tunnel, seemingly endless, cold, and rather unwelcoming, yet, at some distant point, a tiny speck of brilliant white light started up, like a star shining in the sky of a moonless night. I felt myself being dragged toward the star, and as I moved, I noticed that I had my body back, but I seemed to be attached to a translucent silver cord that ran back down the tunnel and into the darkness from which I came. As I moved forward, the light grew slowly larger until I was only some 20 or so meters away. Then she appeared, stepping between myself and the beckoning light. I recognized her instantly as my deceased Nana, who had passed away around a year before. I tried to speak, yet no words could be heard. The place was totally void of all sound, it seemed. However, I felt a sense of elation at seeing Nana as she opened her arms to greet me, an invitation that I literally leapt at. As I surged into her embrace, I felt relief, and as she held me, her hand pulled my cheek to hers. It was cold. Then, the smell hit me, and I was suddenly aware that I had regained my senses, and this place, the tunnel, the light, and my Nana, was as real as the living world, with the exception of deathly silence. A sickly smell, sour and foul, like spoiled pork meat, with a hint of flatulence, accosted me, and I moved to pull my cheek away from Nana, but her grip was fierce and steadfast. Suddenly, her embrace tightened, and I struggled to draw breath. I felt my ribs strain, and finally a few cracked. The pain was real and severe. My throat strained with a scream, but no sound was made. I had the sense that at this moment I was not truly dead, and I realized with horror that if I did not escape her grip quickly, I would stop breathing. Her free hand moved slowly down my spine to my silver cord, and she began to pull on it. She was trying to disconnect me. A child's instinct kicked in, and I opened my mouth and bit down on her shoulder as hard as I could manage. Although I didn't hear a yelp of pain, Nana reacted immediately. Her hold on me, my cord, the cold, hard embrace, broken as she grabbed her shoulder. I seized the opportunity and turned and ran down the tunnel, away from Nana and the light, back toward the darkness. As I did so, I could hear her footfalls coming for me. I could feel her now, malevolent presence seeking me, reaching for me, and as I ran, I dared the chance and looked over my shoulder to see her real face for the first time. This was not my Nana. This was a being of malice. The eye sockets empty, just cavities with no eyeballs present. Her thin grey hair wild as she careened after me, and those fingers, those awful, gnarled fingers reaching for me as she almost reached my nape. I turned my attention back to the darkness ahead as I closed upon the end of the opening of the tunnel. Then, with a desperate burst, I dove into the darkness and fell. The drop was long, yet I managed to turn and see Bad Nana falling after me, her mouth now agape as she let loose a silent scream. A sudden flash of light lit up the space, filling it with static energy, and I felt a strong tug upon my silver cord, then another, and I looked at Bad Nana's face, her mouth now twisted into a wide grin, with sharp, pointed teeth present behind her pale, thin lips. Suddenly, I felt a bang, an impact, and then blackness again. The flashes of light and energy, the tugging of the silver cord, and the impact was a result of the doctor's defibrillation as my heart was forced back into service. I was once again in the land of the living. So was she. Somehow, Bad Nana had crossed the threshold of the abyss with me. Her visits were always sudden and terrifying. Looking out the front window of my house, I would see her staring at me as she stood at the doorstep. First came the knocking, and when I didn't open the door, she would scrape her nails down the fibro wall at the side of our front door. The sound and sensation was at that of fingernails down a chalkboard, the noise producing that awful tingle at the base of my skull. My body spasmed to the demonic symphony. "Let me in," the noise suggested. But I would simply run and hide in my closet until she and that awful sound went away. I would see her observing me from a distance when I chanced to look out of my school classroom window, or when I was playing with my friends in my backyard or the local playground. the appearance always laced with a sense of impending doom. Of course, only I could see her. I alone could feel her presence, and my tearful pleas went mostly ignored by my mother. She considered it merely the wild imagination of a little boy who had died and returned with a tale of horror. As for my father, he may have been concerned for my ongoing torment had he been around, but the truth is that I never knew him. According to Mum, I was a side effect of a brief fling between herself and a visiting American naval sailor. Regardless, neither of us knew who or where he was. As my childhood years progressed, Bad Nana was always there. Yet her visits became less frequent during the day, and as my mind began to mature, they were reduced to brief glimpses at the corner of my eye, leaving me to wonder if early events were indeed the imaginings of a scared little boy. Yet it is not imagination that brings that dreadful knock now as I lay in bed. First comes the presence, that terrible chalkboard tingle at the base of my skull. I feel her as she lingers just beyond sight down the hall that leads to my open doorway. Knock. The sound coming from the far end of the darkened hall. Knock, knock. Now a little closer from the shadows that hug the wall halfway down the hall. Knock, knock, knock from just outside my bedroom door. As usual, I am paralyzed, unable to move any part of my body except my eyes, which are now wide with fear, brimming with tears that blur my vision as I strain to peer beyond my doorway. I try to build a charge of my bioenergy, but my body refuses to respond. Slowly, a dark mass slides from behind my doorframe. There she is, her face now dimly illuminated by the soft moonlight that shines through my window. She creeps forward now, the slap of her bare feet on the floor tiles as she approaches the foot of my bed. I try to scream at her, yet no sound comes. Then I feel her weight alternating from side to side upon my bed as she crawls up over my feet, legs, and stomach before reaching my chest. Gradually she lowers her large, naked frame onto me, her pallid flesh cold and firm, the weight of her being slowly squeezing the air from my lungs. She leans forward towards my face, presenting her open mouth as a hopeful lover may do. The breath, that same caustic cocktail of foul odors, her eye sockets almost as wide as a gaping maw. Was this it? Would the old hag finally claim her long sought-after prize, my soul? The thought echoing through my mind as I contemplating what was to come. The increasing pressure on my chest strained my ribs almost to the point of breakage, assuring that no breath could be taken. At her lips, her breath, as rancid as ever, moved to close around mine. Enter Sandman by Metallica suddenly pierced the moment as my mobile phone sprung to life, effectively saving mine. Breath surged back into my lungs as I woke from sleep, and the old hag had vanished, for she only comes when my body is paralyzed by deep sleep. Boots! I croaked as I regained a semblance of regular breathing pattern. My handler was on the phone, his voice all business, despite being 3:10 a.m. Felix, we need you to come in. There's been a rip. Okay, I'm on my way, I replied as I lurched out of bed. Where's Hina? She's on her way to you. I've sent a car to get you both. Boots mumbled something to one of his aides as he replied to me. Sorry to wake you, Felix. Cool. I wasn't sleeping anyway, I said as I scanned the room to make sure Bad Nana was gone. I'll see you soon.